For century upon century, the center of life of the children of Israel was one place: Solomon's temple in Jerusalem. Even to this day, faithful Israelites go to the remains of this house of God and offer their prayers in lamentation and wailing. Every detail of the temple was given by the Lord to his people, from the outer court surrounding, to the holy place, to the innermost room, the Holy of Holies. And in time, the children of Israel began to understand that this temple was not merely their appointed place of worship and sacrifice. This temple was something more. As the psalmist declared, he built his sanctuary like the high heavens, like the earth, which he has founded forever. The temple was not merely a house of worship for Israel. It was a microcosm of the whole creation. It was the universe in miniature, with the divisions of the temple signifying the divisions of the created order. The outer court, which contained a 12,000-gallon bronze basin known as the Molten Sea, signified the primordial seas gathered into one by the divine order. The holy place was built as a garden sanctuary, pointing to the fruitful earth, the walls decorated with golden palm trees and flowers with precious stones, the bronze pillars decorated with pomegranates, and the great menorah lampstands signifying the celestial lights that brighten the sky. Between the holy place and the innermost room, there was drawn a great, large veil, a beautiful curtain of linen, purple, blue, and scarlet, signifying to them the four elements of earth, water, air, and fire, the foundation of the material world of Jesus' day. This veil meant that to pass from the holy place, the earth, to the Holy of Holies was to pass out of the material world into another realm, the heaven of God. And there in the Holy of Holies, the inner chamber, was a windowless room, and within it, the ark. Covering the ark, a gold slab, the mercy seat. Above the gold slab, 2 cherubim, angelic messengers. And between the cherubim, at the very center of the cosmos, at the very center of the created world, there was nothing. A space. You see, every other ancient temple, when you got to the center, when you got to the center of the universe, the center of creation, there would be a great statue. A statue of Jupiter, a statue of Baal, an image of the god that you could bow down to. But not in the Jerusalem temple. Past the sea, past the fruitful earth, past the veil, past the cherubim, there was no image. Instead, there was only an action. You see, in that space over the mercy seat, between the cherubim, once a year, the high priest would enter, and with sacrificial blood, he would sprinkle that area. In other words, the center of the universe for God's people, the center of reality itself, there was no image. There was the action of sacrifice, of self-gift, of the gift of life. This means at the very heart of creation, there is my life for the sake of yours. Blood shed for another, a life given for the sake of another. This reality was summed up no better than by C.S. Lewis. Many of you know me, so you knew this was coming. In The Problem of Pain. In self-giving, if anywhere, we touch a rhythm not only of all creation, but of all being. For the eternal Word also gives himself in sacrifice. And not only on Calvary, for when he was crucified, he did that in the wild weather of his outlying provinces, that which he had done at home in glory and gladness. From before the foundation of the world, he surrenders begotten deity back to begetting deity in obedience. And as the Son glorifies the Father, so also the Father glorifies the Son. Self exists to be abdicated. Self-giving is absolute reality. Tonight, this night, the self-gift of which the high priest's sprinkling was only a type. Tonight, that self-gift was given. Tonight, that eternal Word, the eternal Word that spoke the sea and the earth and the heaven of heavens into being, tonight, that eternal Word has spoken my life for the sake of yours. Why is the altar the center of every church? Because my life for the sake of yours. Because this self-giving is at the center of the church, at the center of the cosmos, at the center of reality itself. Why is the Mass, this self-gift of the living Word, why is the Mass the source and summit of the Christian life? Why does Catholic worship culminate in the Mass and not simply prayer, not simply singing, not simply preaching or teaching? Because our prayers will always be half-hearted. Our singing will always be imperfect. Our preaching will always be ineffective. Our teaching will always be insufficient. In other words, our intentions, our pieties, our devotion, our sacrifices will always be imperfect. Unless and until they are united to the one sacrifice. There is only one offering in which and by which our imperfect gifts are made acceptable to the Father. Why does Catholic worship culminate here? Why did the faithful smuggle bread and wine into German concentration camps and Chinese prison camps? Because here, my life, for the sake of yours. And it is only in this life that we truly live.